September 29th, 2025 at 6 p.m. Thank you for your patience during executive session. Now we'll all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay. Let's do our roll call. District 1, Jasmine Bowles.
Present.
District 2, Mr. Mark Christmas.
Present.
District 3, Dr. Jesse Goree.
Present.
District 4, Ms. Victoria Williams.
Present.
District 5, Dr. D. Haney.
Present.
District 6, Ms. Mary Baker.
Present.
District 7, Ms. Sabrina Hill.
Present.
District 8, Ms. Joy Cooper.
Present.
District 9, Ben Straker. Superintendent Anthony Smith, Dr. Anthony Smith.
Present.
Deputy Superintendent Dr. Douglas Hendricks. Attorney Clem Doyle.
Present.
Board Coordinator Kim Blackwood. Assistant to the Superintendent, Ms. Alicia Battle. Assistant to the Senior Deputy Superintendent, Ms. Dawn Biles. And we have 2 interns with us tonight. We have a new one from Mundy's Mills, Mr. Kingston Parrish. Can you come out here and wave to the crowd? Mr. Parrish is our new intern, so we currently have 3 different interns, and they're working on some really big projects that I'll share with you a little bit later on. All right. I'd like to read the ethics statement. In accordance with Board Policy BH, it is the duty of every board member to avoid both conflicts of interest and appearance of such conflicts. Does any board member have any known conflict of interest or appearance of such conflict with respect to any matter scheduled to come before the board at this meeting or appearing on our proposed agenda? If so, please identify the conflict or appearance of conflict and refrain from participation in the matter involved. I need a motion for the adoption of tonight's agenda. Ms. Cooper?
Second.
Mr. Christmas. So it's been moved by Ms. Cooper and seconded by Mr. Christmas. Can I get a vote? Thank you. I'm now handing over the podium to Dr. Smith for the recommendations from the executive session.
Mr. Chairman, Mrs. Vice Chairwoman, members of the board, community, and staff, I would like for the board to consider for the position of Assistant Principal at Riverdale Elementary, Ms. Vietnamese Shaw.
Dr. Goree?
I move that we accept the superintendent's recommendation of Ms. Vietnamese Shaw as the assistant principal at Riverdale Elementary School.
Fantastic. Ms. Hill?
I second the motion.
The motion has been made and properly second. Can I get a vote? It's unanimous.
Okay, thank you so very much. Is Ms. Shaw present? Thank you so very much. I believe the board would like to take a picture with you. If you don't mind, please come down. Those are my recommendations for the night.
Right, do you have, is the, wait,
Okay, just 1 second.
right, this one is. All right, cool. All right, good. Right. All right, go ahead, sir, with the tribunal, your recommendation.
Yes, I would like for the board to consider the recommendations made for tribunal hearing 2025-202602.
Can I get a motion? Dr. Goree,
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Baker?
Well, actually, I think we need to state the motion. I'm sorry. I move that we accept the superintendent's recommendation for tribunal 2025-202602.
Ms. Baker? Okay, the motion has been made and properly second. Can I get a vote? It's unanimous.
Thank you, board members.
All right.
Mrs. Shaw, at this time, if it's okay,
Yep.
Mr. Chairman, to come down and take a group picture with the board.
Which one?
You as well, Mr. Faison.
Okay. Mr. Faison, you're coming down? Okay, fantastic. I'm starting with you. You're starting. I'm starting over here.
Thank you, members of the board.
You got it. Okay, at this time, we're going to hear updates from our Board of Education. I'll start with Ms. Joy Tellis-Cooper.
Thank you so much. So this board meeting, I want to highlight Morrow High School. Morrow High School has had a lot of things going on, and I'm so proud of them. First, I'll start off with the Delta Luncheon, but I won't steal your thunder. I'll let you go ahead and go into that and talk about it. But when I say it was phenomenal, our students, our Morrow students, they did an excellent job. And again, I would like to publicly thank Delta Airline for what they do for our students. But I'll let you finish that. Also, our students our Morrow students, the band will be going to Dublin, Ireland, to play in the New Year Parade, January 2027. So I'm just asking that y'all please just keep them in mind and support them. Also, I won't talk about the graduation rates because I know Dr. Smith will talk more about that, but just to give them a shout out, they did increase to 92.4. We also have students that will be playing at Carnegie Hall in the spring of 2026. So again, they do need your support and help. Congratulations to the Teacher of the Year over there, Miss Homecoming Queen. I did get an opportunity to go to homecoming this past Friday and participate in crowning her, so that was a great thing. The NHD Georgia Chapter Awards, we had two students over there, Miss Lindsay Sanchez and Abby Miller. They were selected by the Georgia NHD chapter. So that was great for their performance at a Native American board schools, was selected as the most outstanding senior project from Georgia. So that's a plus. And congratulations also to the teacher over there, Miss Jennifer Henley. We had AP awards from Morrow High School. It's a lot over here. They're doing great things. The AP Capstone Certificate, the AP Scholar and Distinction for 4 students, the AP Scholar with Honor, 9 students, and the AP Scholar, which had 43 students. So I just want to give Morrow a thunderous applause because they're doing great things. That's just a little snippet of what they're doing at Morrow High School.
Ms. Hill?
Thank you. I just want to, first of all, acknowledge my colleagues and our staff who has been so gracious to reach out to me to ask how my daughter was doing during her healing process. Please note that it continues to give me strength. So I apologize for my absence, haven't been as present as I'm normally, but I do pay attention and recognize, and I just want to acknowledge our Let's Talk Literacy. I had the opportunity of seeing this stream live, and it was absolutely amazing. To Dr. Smith, Dr. Hendricks, Dr. Lee, and our partner, Mr. Comer Yates. I'm loving what I'm hearing, building a firm foundation with our K-1, and then pushing in the executive functions, and then with each year, making sure that we add on to what we're already doing. So I just want to say thank you for the great work. Thank you for the video. If you have not seen the video prior to the Let's Talk Literacy, it is amazing. It made me smile. It warmed my heart to see those young people say, talk to me in complete sentences. Help me to think. Don't tell me what to do, but help me to have the tools to do the critical thinking. So we are definitely on a great path to making sure that our children are excelling in their academics and particularly in literacy. So I want to say thank you to all the hard work that we're doing in literacy and numeracy. And it just warms my heart to see the work that we do here day after day with Clayton County students, our community, and our great staff. So thank you.
Good deal. Thank you, Dr. Haynes.
Good evening, everyone. I want to first give an announcement that District 5 is hosting their very first Builders Legacy Conference on this Saturday at Mount Zion High School from 9 to 11. In advance, as I left a post already on Facebook, I just want to again thank those presenters and the staff and the cabinet, as well as Dr. Smith and all others, especially our community, for participating. We are also still collecting our ties. Our boys found out, they are pretty excited about it. And I want to also give kudos to Cedric Coleman over at Riverdale Middle School for that initiative as well. Also, I want to give a department shout out to the communications department, because they're always there making sure that everything is captured in this district. Also to make sure that I'm cool with my communications, and I really appreciate that for them being on top of that. So I just want to give a departmental shout out to them. Thank you, and continue to do what you're doing. I see you, I recognize you, I'm there with you, and continue to do what you're doing. So thank you, District 5, thank you, CCPS and Dr. Smith, for the opportunity.
Thank you, Dr. Haney. Ms. Baker.
Okay, somebody probably already covered this because I've been gone, checking on family. But Jonesboro High School, the marching Cardinals are going to be at the Rose Parade this next year. And so kudos to them. I mean, just take a listen. We're going to be in London. We're going to have people, we're going to have Mount Zion at in Hawaii. We've got somebody going to Dublin. Clayton County's blowing up the map. Let's just say that. I want to give a little shout out. I was at PACE today for our kindergarten commitment. Dr. Bowie was there with me. Those kids are awesome. I know that he was probably, doing auditions already, but they are just as cute as can be. The parents came out. They were very responsive. They were very glad. The one thing that scared me is their shirts said 2038 on them. Okay. I don't know if that bothers you, but it bothers me. And then after that, I went by Suter Elementary School, and the kids had just finished their program, but they allowed me to take a picture with them. And then they were giving away hugs. And one of the teachers was like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, you don't understand. I'm a preschool teacher. I will take every hug I can get. So we have great things going on. They'll be talking about the graduation rate. And, I was looking from when I first started on the board to what it is now. And we should be proud. So thank you. It's the staff, it's the teachers, the parents. We have to work together for our kids. So thank you for each and every one of you. And on a personal note, go Ducks.
Thank you, Ms. Baker. Few things. First and foremost, piggybacking off of Ms. Baker's comment, I started this board in 2015, and 10 years ago. And when I started the board, the graduation rate was teetering at 70%. Today, we're that close to 90%. So kudos to the students, the staff, and the community. The other thing that I wanted to say about the graduation rate, and I'm going to move really quickly from this, is that I appreciate Dr. Smith tying it to the 4 E's, even though I don't want to give him the credit for the creation of the 4 E's, but the fact that the graduation rate is not what we're truly celebrating. We're celebrating the fact that our graduates are going to go out and encompass one of those 4 E's is what that real focus is. When speaking to some of the staff today, I'm so proud of that number, but we're not finished. Until we're at a sustainable plus 90%, we ain't quitting. So let's keep that drive. To Ms. Cooper's point, the Delta lunching, oh my God, that was epic. That was fantastic. Kudos, big shout out to Dr. Young, Dr. Wiley, Dr. Pitts. That's how you treat somebody that gives you millions of dollars. Lastly, and I gave a challenge to the communications department, so don't start throwing something at me, but our board interns are now staffed. We have 3 fantastic interns, and they're taking on a project that is definitely going to compete with the entire communications department. So Dr. Lee, get ready. The initiative that they're starting is called Board Chat. And the concept of the Board Chat is a podcast that's going to be directed, produced, and hosted by our children. And they're going to be interviewing board members to find out why we do what we do and how we contribute to the system. But it's going to be driven by their questions, and they'll be highlighting their schools as they're doing this. So we're very excited about this initiative, and I'm pretty sure it'll go viral and we'll get a Webby Award for that podcast. So you heard it here first. I think that's the last thing. The other thing that I did want to mention is that at the Delta luncheon, there was a young man, and I'm sorry I didn't write his name down, but this guy is definitely on the path of being the next Barack Obama. His speech was incredible. I've never heard a speech from an adult like that. And he delivered that speech showing us the vision that he had when he was 5 years old to becoming a Delta commercial pilot. So we've got to clone these great kids that we have and make them all of our kids. So we have the formula. The ingredient is here. We just need to spread that to the vast majority of our children, and Clayton County will definitely be a nationwide talk. Thank you. Ms. Williams?
Y'all done said everything. I want to congratulate the kindergartners too. I had the privilege of going to Harper this morning for the kindergarten signing for the class of 2038. But what I really wanted to say is that these are trying times for everybody. So we all need to try to pray for each other, love on each other, and show each other some respect. Because I lost 2 loved ones in the last week, and we never know when our last time is. So all the, complaining or arguing and stuff we do, we need to be, thank God that we wake up every morning and appreciate being alive and appreciating who we're working with and who we pass by. Thank you.
That's received, Ms. Williams. Dr. Gorey?
Amen to that, Ms. Williams. With us going into October, Breast Cancer Awareness Month, I am a survivor, and I thank the Lord every day that I can wake up and see the sun shine again. I also, even though Morrow High School is not in my district, it seems like I'm there so much now, I need to be a part of the staff. This morning, I was present. My granddaughter attends Morrow, and I was there for the Morrow High School magnet induction ceremony. I believe that the young man that Mr. Straker might have been referring to might have been Jonah Slade. I was present at the Morrow ROTC aviation wings ceremony where we pinned 3 young men in the ROTC program. They are now licensed pilots. I also was at their aspirations are to become commercial pilots. They'll be going to Middle Georgia College and becoming a commercial pilot for Delta. Also, I was at Morrow High School for their ranking. They all of their ranking. I'm just so proud of everything they do. Also, on 9/13, I partner with a young man that is a graduate of Morrow High School by the name of Brandon Jones. This was the 12th annual college fair where we had over 70 colleges. And I also want to shout out Dr. Dunn for being an amazing partner. We were able to transport students to Morrow High School, probably had a good, I'll say about 1,500 students that came, getting ready to go to college. This past week was pretty busy for me. I attended Elite Scholars volleyball game on Monday night, supporting one of my former students' daughters, who is a graduate who will be a graduate. So that's kind of like full circle to be there with her mother and enjoy the granddaughter getting accolades over at Elite Scholars. I want to thank, I don't know if the Riverdale people left, but Mr. Faison invited me over for the Riverdale Elementary School tailgate party for the Falcons. Now that after that game, they didn't win, but thank the Lord we got the victory yesterday. And let me see, I think I have everything. Stillwell, I have a granddaughter at Stillwell. So I've been to their Tiny Desk concert. You all should go over there and visit for lunch. They are amazing. And I got to shout out a school in my district, North Clayton High School, defeated the 10th ranked Stevenson High School Jaguars on Saturday night. Took them down. So that is it. As I said, as we go to celebrate October and our breast cancer survivors, please acknowledge them and any other form of cancer. I just, as I said, thank God for another day. And I'm going to steal a little thunder here because my partner in crime, we won't be here on October the 1st, but somebody here is going to have a birthday on October the 1st. That's Mr. Mark Christmas. So I'm going to give an early shout out right now. And Dr. Smith had his birthday last week, so we got some birthday boys. All right, here, September. Was it the 24th? For Dr. Smith. Passing the mic.
Mr. Christmas? Ms. Bowles?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Glad to be with you. Just a few quick updates. One, I would love to give a shout out to the beautiful scholars and incredible staff at Kemp Primary. I was able to go and read to them during Georgia Pre-K Reads Day, and all the learning that's happening in our elementary schools, but starting even in pre-K, is really incredible. And the best way to close the education gap is to prevent it. And we do that in our primary grades. So just want to give a shout out to that incredible team and staff. I also want to thank the entire community. Yoga and Wellness Wednesdays are growing. And so our last session was about 50 to 60 folks, our biggest class ever. And I think, to Ms. Williams' point, it's partially because we're doing a great job at meeting the whole needs of the whole person here at CCPS, but also a sign of the times. And I recognize that with so much negativity and toxicity in the media and the news, one of my ways to encourage you all is to start at home and start with self. And so whether that's on a micro level with your body and a breath work or yoga, or even here as you serve in our system, I just want to say thank you. And the last quote I'll leave you with right now that's just been a mantra for me for the past few weeks is just the idea that darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that. And hate cannot drive out hate, only love can do that. It's one of my favorite King quotes. And so just to be what we're looking for. Thanks.
Thank you, Ms. Bowles. I'm handing the podium over to Dr. Smith for updates to the board.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Before we bring up our staff members to provide updates, I would like to big shout out to National Hispanic Heritage Month. And I want to thank the schools and departments for recognizing this phenomenal group of individuals and Americans. I want to thank the State Board of Education with their media release today, highlighting the improvements with graduation rates across the state. And we were a featured district in the media release, and I want to thank them for that. I also want to thank, again, Mrs. Hill's recognition for the Let's Talk Literacy Episode 2. We want to thank our phenomenal partners, the Rollins Center, led by Mr. Coleman Yates, and the phenomenal job that he did, along with our own Dr. Douglas Hendricks, that was facilitated by Dr. Ebony Lee. Phenomenal event. And I also want to thank my colleagues who supported me and the school system in Washington, D.C. this weekend. We had the great opportunity to deliver the keynote address at the opening ceremony for the National Superintendent's Academy in Washington, D.C. at Howard University. And we were able to share the transformative things that we're doing in our school system with many up-and-coming superintendents across the nation. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. You can move forward with your updates.
At this time, I think we're going to have the foundation provide an update led by our chairman, Mr. Tedeschi.
Good evening. I'm not Mr. Tedeschi, but I do want to bring greetings, Mr. Chair, Madam Vice Chair, members of the board, community at large, and colleagues. I am incredibly excited to share with you and partner as well in the presentation that you're going to hear this evening. Started out by the foundation, and then we'll move into updates about the Convocation Center. But before I do that, I'd be remiss if I did not introduce other members of the foundation that will be joining us in this presentation this evening. Starting out to my right, Mr. Harlan Tedeschi, Dr. Jeremy Tuck, Ms. Crashida Briggs, and Ms. Yolanda Tucker. And so I will, as we go through the presentation, ask that you please hold all questions. We certainly will be brief in terms of hitting our high points, but we certainly want to be intentional. We want to be informative, and we want everyone to walk out of here knowing and understanding that what we have planned for you starting in January of 2026 is going to be something that we'll be able to celebrate for years to come. So with that being said, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Tedeschi.
Mr. Tedeschi, before you go, Dr. Smith.
Yes, I just wanted to acknowledge a great community member that's connected to our faith-based community. Bishop Green is with us in the audience this afternoon. We always appreciate Bishop Green and his support and prayers for the school system. Of course, I'm so sorry, but she was going to be introduced as one of our foundation members. But you're absolutely right. He cannot do that great work alone. He has by his side his beautiful wife, Dr. Green, as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Tedeschi, the floor is yours.
Absolutely. Thank you. Let me make sure the slide deck is working.
Is it not working?
Which laptop are we using? Thank you. That was fantastic. Appreciate it.
Can we manually do it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Is it working? Okay. Let me see. I'll try it one more time just in case. Okay. No worries. Thank you for helping us advance the slide deck.
Can
Good
you
evening, everyone.
Bring the mic closer to your mouth.
Is that better?
Yeah, that's good.
Oh, see, I got to get a little bit lower. That's fine. Good evening, everyone. As Dr. Simpson mentioned, and our Chief Superintendent, my name is Hailam Tedesi. I've been serving with the foundation for several years. Haven't had the opportunity to be able to present some of the amazing things that we're doing. So really excited to be able to do that today. So first, I want to thank the BOE, all the members for this opportunity, because I think the foundation only exists to serve the district. And we appreciate all the guidance, support that the BOE have given us in order for this foundation to exist as it stands today. One of the things that I value is contribution from team members that do the work. So today, instead of me presenting the materials, I really do want the team that have been working on this on a day-to-day basis to have the opportunity to be able to present on some of this updates that we're going to be providing you today. If you can advance it for us, please.
Go ahead. I'll manually do it. Go ahead.
You got it?
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Oh, it could just be, that's fine. So we don't have to spend a whole lot of time on this, but it is important to understand the mission of the foundation itself. We exist as a philanthropic organization fostering the sustainable growth, development, and academic achievement of students in Clayton County. What's really important to take there is our primary focus is centered on the student's experience. So that's how we want to be measured as an entity, and that's how we want to be looked at in terms of the success that we're bringing forth. So it's really important that in everything that we do, we are centering the experience around the student. Yeah, no worries. So I'll do some brief introduction just on some of our board members. We won't go too deep into that. We'll talk about some financial updates. We want to provide some high level. There will be some detailed financial breakdown, cash flow statements, P&L breakdown. We're going to be able to provide you, but today we just want to show the high level breakdown. What are some of the different programs and funding that we've been putting in place to support the district, student and faculty and teacher experience? We'll provide high level around the Convocation Center. There's been a lot of activities that we've been working on the last several weeks. Transition plan from our executive director, the overall status, and then what's next. What are we looking forward to providing the district? As mentioned earlier, myself as a chair, we have our vice chair, Mr. Mitch Johnson, our treasurer, Pastor Jeremy Tuck, as well as Dr. Simpson, who's going to primarily focus on the convocation update. And then if we can keep going, Mr. Straker. Yeah. So from board of directors, today we do have Dr. Green, who have been an advocate of this entire community and serving on the board for many, many years. We really appreciate her service. We also have Mr. Ria Jenkins, who have also been a part of the foundation for many years. And if we can go to the next slide. And also, it's really important to understand the staff that have been doing a lot of the behind-the-scene work as well. So they'll get a chance to provide some updates. Ms. Kushika Briggs, who will talk about more around operational efficiency, some of the programs that we've been supporting, and some of the transition update. And then Ms. Yolanda Tucker is going to focus heavily on some of the progress we've been making for the Convocation Center. So she's our lead program project manager, helping things move forward. I also think it's really, really critical and important that we highlight who is supporting us, who is providing strategic partnership, donations, and really allowing us to exist as an entity. So first, I think everyone is familiar. Delta is not only ingrained in the community, but they're really, really ingrained in the foundation. Been around since day one and support many various programs. And I think many of you have heard by now, our first naming rights is a significant amount of funding that they've given us, $5 million, to be able to have the Junior Achievement Learning Center. And that's a critical partner to continue to grow and foster. Junior Achievement, the Housing Authority of Clayton County has been really a great partner for us as well. Thank you. And then the Clayton County, Clayton Chamber of Commerce as well. A strong strategic partner. We've had their current president part of the foundation board for many years as well. Strong ally. Georgia Power has supported our golf tournament and has supported various scholarships as well over an extended period of time. Truist, as a part of our board, is also a great advocate and looking to support different programs that we want to be able to fund. And at the bottom, it's also really important to think about who are the other partners that we're leveraging for execution from a legal perspective, operator, from a finance and accounting. As we're maturing as an organization, it's important to have individuals with the right subject matter expertise as a part of the operational execution team. We can move forward. As we move into the financial update, if I could have Pastor Tuck come up. This is wanted to provide a quick high-level summary of what our accounting team has put together for 2023, 24, and they're working on 2025 financials as well. We wanted to make sure we did an in-depth audit findings so that we can be really critical in terms of where our what is coming in and from where, and what are the various expenditures that we're putting out there. Again, every dollar spent should be measured based on how is it impacting and improving the student experience? How is it impacting and improving the teacher experience? Are we giving them the support that they need to be able to do this critical work? Because it is a very difficult and critical work to do. Our goal should be to be able to support and fund what they need to be successful in their jobs as well. But we will provide a much more detailed, thorough audit and report once that's been finalized. Our accounting team is working through that right now.
Okay, diving into our year-over-year financial analysis, you can see in 2022 where we started, and then if you land over to 2025, our year-to-date in June at 1.2, and then if you drop down to our total expenditures, looking at where we landed in 2022, and then looking at the total expenditures at where we landed in 2025. So as you can see, our revenue is increasing, our donations are increasing, what we're doing in the community is increasing. So you can see the increase, and you can see the growth there from year to year, and just to see what we're doing as it relates to the total expenditure. This is probably really small for you guys, as it's small for me, but high level, you can see that we were at one point, can't quite see what that number is from here, but we were at almost $1.2 million. But just to make it really, really short and sweet, we went from being a $300,000 foundation to almost an $8 million foundation. And we have all of our partners and the foundation and the Clayton County Board to thank for that. And there you see our total assets are 7.1 million, and just following down to where we are.
If we can go back a slide, the one thing I'll mention around our financials is a lot of the funds that have been raised have come also from the 2 million that the BOE has given us. That was a significant initial investment that we really needed to stand up the operations that we had, because that allowed us to staff up and have the right subject matter experts, a part of our staff and leadership. It also allowed us to bring in the MGOs of the world, the ice millers, and so on, to be able to ensure we have the right governance structure in place. And so that initial funding is continuing to grow because we're investing it the right way, but we're also leveraging it to maintain our operations. We also had additional funding that were provided that is going to give us a healthy cash flow that we can continue to move forward with. The 8 million is really coming primarily because of the significant funding that Delta also provided us. Because this is committed, we have actual that we realize cash on hand, but we also have the remaining balance as receivable, and according to accounting principles, we are able to add that as a part of our overall asset. Again, this gives us a great deal of latitude for us to continue to move forward and build up these operations. All right, from a district support perspective, I'll have Ms. Krishika come up with us. So this is an area I really do think we have more opportunities to improve. At the beginning of the year, at the end of our fiscal year, a couple of months prior, we try to understand what are all the different programs that the district needs, whether that's working through Ms. Rice or that's working through various cabinet members, to really understand the voice of our faculty, what investments they need, as well as the voice of our students. However, we still have a long way to go. We did approve this being really thoughtful about where we should be investing in and what is the feedback we're receiving. But the one area I do want, and we'll talk about this a bit more later, I wanted you to focus on the bottom three: literacy, teacher appreciation, and STEM. We can invest more in any one of those areas for certain at the above. However, literacy and STEM is critical. If you compare that to where we're spending the rest of our funds, that's an area we really want to focus our attention and try to figure out how do we create the right program, funding, and grant opportunities to be able to significantly increase our allocated financials or budget, if you will, to be able to fully sponsor them. And I'll talk about what that looks like and a few ideas we'll be able to share at the end of this presentation, as well as future presentations as well.
Okay. I would like to provide the actual funding metrics from September 2024 through June of 2025. So based on our strategic district investment package, we actually funded more than what was originally planned. So the initial budget was $362,000 and we funded $442,000. $266,000 went to district support over various departments and initiatives, $19,000 to community support, $48,000 for advocacy, and $10,000 for bereavement. I would like to highlight the scholarships that were actually awarded. So $73,500 was Delta Airlines funding to our top scholars, such as our BOWs and SALs. We also had a fiscal sponsorship with our school choice scholarships, and we awarded $12,500, and $20,000 through the Keep Amani Foundation awarded to seniors at Elite Scholars. So this is a graph to just show the overall percentages of the funding disbursements by category. So as Hylam mentioned, we do want to make sure that we work with district leaders, cabinet members, Dr. Smith, to develop next year's district support package. Because as you can see that we gave 56% actually went to district support, and 4% overall went to community support, 2% went to bereavement, 10% to advocacy, and 23% to scholarships. So we're taking this data, we're going to use that as we develop and implement the next district support package, so that way we can identify areas that need further improvement and further funding and shift the graph to where it needs to go for the next school year.
Yeah, so that's the area where we'll love to hear more about. So anyone that's listening online, or any leaders that are here in person, any ideas or thoughts you may have, like what programs should we be funding? Because it's important to hear from grassroots, either individuals that are helping lead operations or teaching, but also if you're hearing from our students, and I know we have an intern here, we'll love to hear from you and others, fellow students as well. What else can we be doing differently? Where should we be investing? Because if we do not hear your voice enough, we may be blindly investing in areas that may or may not produce the results we need. However, hearing directly from the stakeholders and end users, in this case, the students, we will be able to, have targeted investments. So I just want to put that out there, that we do want to have an open ear to be able to receive those feedback and adjust our plans accordingly.
So welcome to the Convocation Center. Not just the Convocation Center, but the Clayton County Public Schools Convocation Center. Not reading from verbatim to you, I do want to highlight number 4 in our strategic goals: to provide a high quality, equitable support services delivered within budget to promote high performance in Clayton County Public School System. What the Convocation Center will offer: a premier multi-use venue, a dynamic hub for educational advancement, to include career readiness, community pride, the hosting of especially and particularly our graduations, job fairs, concerts, and conferences. This multi-million-dollar project, with the collaboration of the Clayton County Public School System, the Board of Education, and Foundation, government, and other partners, is what's truly making this happen. Over the last couple of weeks, I just want to share just briefly an experience. And then I have to credit Dr. Smith with this, for bestowing this opportunity to work with these wonderful people with the foundation, as well as the operator to be named later. But over the last several weeks, we've had the opportunity to work hand in hand and spend a number of days in a work session tirelessly working through a number of the things that's listed on this particular slide. I want to say to you, first and foremost, that moving forward, as we are in transition and putting all of the pieces together, that I want you to feel very, very confident, comfortable in knowing that we're on the right track and moving toward the day of opening this convocation center. As you'll see at the bottom where we talk about key milestones, the naming rights, something that obviously will be forthcoming. If you look at where we are or when we were on December 2025, or where we will be on December 2025, I'm sorry. But the work that's going into that, we'll be meeting most actually within the next few weeks, a number of things, from operational readiness, governance and oversight, the completion of the building construction, and at the very bottom, securing licenses. That's going to be very, very critical to this process. And I'm going to allow for Mr. Tedeschi or Ms. Tucker to add some commentary.
Thank you so much, and good afternoon. As Dr. Simpson noted, we just wrapped up 2 incredible days last week with the Convocation Center operator. We spent those 2 days really getting into the nuts and bolts of the work. On the first day, they had an opportunity to tour the arena. For some of them, it was a tour again, and for others, it was their first time seeing the arena. They are excited, and we are excited. On the second day, as shared, we really got into the breakout sessions, right? We had our internal and external stakeholders with us to get into a myriad of things around legal and regulatory, production, marketing of events and what that will look like for the Convocation Center, programming for our students in our community. And so it was just a great couple of days. I just wanted to highlight that some more. Some of our planned activities following that, of course, is we're continuing our naming rights and sponsorship efforts. We're hoping to expand our stakeholder and community engagement efforts. Everyone knows the Convocation Center is coming, but how do we really continue to get that word out and get the community engaged and get their engagement and feedback in what we deliver there? We'll be developing detailed project plans and work plans and RACI charts. Our goal here is to stay out of one another's way and out of one another's lanes. And so those tools and templates will help facilitate that. We'll be moving forward with booking more and more events, and then updating the board, I should say boards, both the Clayton County Public Schools as well as the foundation around discovery and some of the planned outcomes that we have for this work. Dr. Simpson highlighted our key milestones. We'll have more coming now that we're really at that place where we're digging in. We have the facility, and now we're really getting to more of what's going to happen once it's opened. And so we're super excited about that.
One thing that I'll mention is that communication is really critical. And so we were really thoughtful about identifying who are all the stakeholders involved, whether it is transactional activities, whether it's leadership oversight. And so we really wanted to understand our external strategic partners and then our internal, which is really made up of the foundation and the school district, and understanding what are their roles and responsibilities. If we can go to the next slide. There's going to be a much more detailed breakdown, Mr. Straker, if you can go to the next one, of like highlighting not only what are they doing, but the specific functions, the specific roles and responsibilities, SLAs, performance metrics, and so on, because then it's going to make it easier for us to stay on top of what we need to do. But once we really understood who all those stakeholders were and are, Next step is really to organize ongoing meetings. So we have a weekly, first we start off with introduction, separate sessions to really understand each of the different players. And now we have an ongoing weekly meeting where we meet every Thursday. All the stakeholders and leaders, let's call it the steering committee, are involved, where we're tracking the work, whether it's on the building construction side, whether it is on the legal governance side, whether it's on the operations operator side, staffing, licensing, and so on. So those weekly meetings are really getting the team much tighter and really understanding the risks and the various nuances that we need to work through. And then we're also having individual sessions with those stakeholders to ensure we go a little bit more tactical. What are those risks or next set of action items and milestones we need to achieve? And the goal is to continue to do that so that we have a really, a more rapid communication, as well as different chat rooms we're going to be establishing, because we're learning there's a lot that goes into this. It's not just constructing a building, running and managing it and addressing all the risks that are in front of us is going to be incredibly critical. So we're being really thoughtful about how we address each of those points. So we did, as a part of our strategic partners, we had Incisive and the Collateral Firm really working together around the naming rights strategy. And this is just an example of the package that they put together of what are those different tiers. And we're leveraging this information along with the package that they have helped us put together to present to those ideal prospect naming rights candidates that we are actively working with. Yeah.
So as mentioned earlier, we talked about the great work that staff has already done with securing major donors from Delta. But this is just an idea of some of the companies or corporations that we're targeting. As you can see, these are some truly large and very, very wealthy organizations. Truist, Georgia Power, Chase, Xfinity. Those are just to name a few. However, there are a number of organizations or companies out there that we're actually targeting so that when we narrow down the naming rights and the name that we place on this building, in addition to that being our very own Clayton County Public School System, we want to make certain that this funding, this name carries for quite some time. As Highland mentioned earlier, the partnership, the collaboration that we've been able to establish, just not with the school board and serving in the capacity that I'm in, as well as the foundation and the operator, the stakeholder engagement obviously is critical. And so while he mentioned about the in-person virtual sessions, we talked about some of the signature events and the community outreach, I'm sorry. You may have heard that there's some, I wouldn't say rumblings, but some rumors about certain events, particularly Georgia High School Association. I feel very, very comfortable in sharing with you that we've had extensive conversation with Georgia High School Association to try and lure a number of state championship events that they hold there annually at the Macon Centralplex. We understand and realize, and certainly you all too, being here in Clayton County, as we tell anyone that if you ever wonder or have an idea as to where Clayton County is, if you fly into Hartsfield-Jackson Airport, you landed in Clayton. With that being said, we want to take full advantage of being here, being geographically located and close to the airport, that any events, not just Georgia High School Association, we're in conversation with college conferences, the whole region championships here, and just a number of different partners and agreements that we have already had extensive conversation with and that we plan to secure within the next weeks. And so I just wanted to make sure that everyone understood clearly that not only for graduations, because it started out with a conversation about how can we save some money and stop giving so much for our graduates in terms of not, of course, we would spend what we can and what we need to for them, but the funds that we were spending to hold our graduations at other facilities, why not have our own? And it grew into this. This is what led that conversation even further down the road, and this is where we've ended up at.
Thank you both for your incredible work, efforts, and really helping with this presentation as well. As we move into the transition update, I do think it's important to start off by, I want to send a special thanks to Ms. Nina Packer in terms of as our previous executive director, the amount of work, effort that went into establishing the structure, the foundation that we have that's enabling us to continue to grow and get to the next phase and next part of our journey. Ms. Packer played a critical role into that. So I really do want to publicly thank her for her contribution, for her effort. I know it's not easy to do this work, but I am grateful for what she's done to help us to get to where we are. And right now, it's, as we're working through the transition, it's really important to think about what are some of the key elements that we need to transition. The Convocation Center work, establishing ongoing regular cadence with our executive committee, certain board members that are part of committees, our staff, and so on. So at least we have, ongoing communication and cadence to ensure we're aware of all the various risks and opportunities for improvement. We also do have daily check-ins. I've been meeting with the team on a daily basis to really understand, to get much closer into the details, so I have a better understanding of how to approach this and put some strategy in place as well. We've successfully transitioned most of the systems. There's a few that we're working through right now. In terms of the executive director search, we do have phase A is really for us, again, to have a better understanding of the day-to-day, because I think it's really helped every single person learn, and that we do need to share the load, if you will, instead of having siloed information. It's really good to have everyone have a really good understanding of the information so that we can support one another. So we've been working through that. And then step 2 is really identifying an interim executive director, which we're actively working on. We've identified a few candidates that we've been talking to. And my goal and the executive committee goal is to present that plan back to our foundation board members so we can work through the next steps. And then from a long-term perspective, once we have the transition interim executive director in place, we're going to do a wider national search to identify a permanent executive director. And we're going to establish a special committee so that we have a really thoughtful team that are critical about how we present it out there, how we identify the top candidates, and ensure we have an appropriate way to be able to manage that. So I'm looking forward to talking to our board on how we're going to continue to work through that. And in closing, I really do think it's important to think about how do we continue to refocus our attention back to the student, because every single person in this room is here for that very reason. Right? We serve, you all serve, and our elected officials primarily to enrich the student experience. The foundation exists purely for that. The faculty members that are here in this room, community leaders that are here in this room, that's what our focus should be. And my goal is to get us to continue to come back to that central point. And the first is, as mentioned earlier, is increasing funding for literacy. This is special and near and dear to me because of what one of my child has gone through. I know how impactful this is. And when done the right way, in which the Atlanta Speech School has done, and my son attends that school, and I've been able to have a really great partnership with Mr. Gates, as well as Mr. Yates, as well as Dr. Ryan Lee James, who are the two partners that are helping us establish it. So the goal is we want to raise as much money as we possibly can to fully fund literacy, not just standing out those programs, but also if there are ways to fund the right subject matter experts that we need to have in place, or if there are ways to help fund teacher certifications so that they are equipped to be able to manage this, because this is a very difficult task. STEM and robotics program, we want to continue to think about how do we get as many of these students to get into the engineering and technology world. So I've been talking to Dr. Lonnie and Linda Johnson, and they have an R&D robotics center downtown Atlanta. I've had a chance to visit it several times. They want the district to come there and visit leaders, and they're willing to support establishing a robotics program and provide us the necessary training, subject matter expertise that we need. And our goal is going to be able to raise enough funds to at least get a pilot or fully funded program in 3 different schools. And this is doable and achievable with just $100,000. We can get an active robotics program happening at 3 different schools simultaneously, and they're willing to support and help us put that infrastructure in place. This will also be able to fund faculty members and teachers who are going to raise their hand and volunteer to be able to do this. We will make sure they get funded for the work that they do. So there's going to be a lot more thought we're going to put into this, but the conversation is happening, and one of my personal goals is to get these 2 accomplished. If I can do 2 things before my term ends or walking away from all of this, is to get those 2 things together: literacy and then STEM and technology programs, because to me, that's the future of where our generation needs to be. We also want to focus on focus groups. It's critical, as I mentioned earlier, we want the opportunity to talk to those class presidents. We want to hear directly from them. What are they seeing? What are they hearing? They represent their constituents. So we want to hear from them to figure out what should we be doing differently and better. And same thing for faculty members. So I'll be reaching out Dr. Hendricks, Dr. Simpson, Dr. Smith, and team to help us organize those focus group sessions so we can learn actively on what we need to do. Internship opportunities. This is something we've talked a lot about in the foundation, and I think it's time to actually get it activated. We have roles we can establish and seats we can have at the foundation for students to have those learning and paid internship opportunities. So more will be coming around that. Fostering, again, strategic partnership, streamlining the process to submit for grants. We want to make it as easy as possible for teachers, faculty members to request funds for programs that they know is important because they're closer to the ground and have that understanding. And then lastly, we also want to have an alignment and brainstorming session. Dr. Hendricks and I have been talking about that for a few weeks to really establish a brainstorming session and align a multi-year strategy. We cannot live year to year, month. This has to be 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road. Where do we want to be? That's the end goal in mind. And we need to map out what are those deliverables we need to have in place in order to be able to accomplish that. So I'm really excited to be able to do that. And hopefully that will get us back to the point of why we're all here, getting back to the students and making sure they have the best possible experience to succeed. And with that, I thank you, the BOE, thank you, Mr. Chair, Ms. Vice Chair, for this opportunity. And we'll love the team to come back up if there are any questions or feedback from the group.
Thank you for the comprehensive report. We appreciate that. Now we'll take questions from the board members. Ms. Dr. Goree.
Thank you so much for your presentation. The last statement, focus on students, is what this should have all been about. I want to ask a few questions. You may not be able to give me this information right now, but you mentioned, you all keep talking about naming rights. And I know that we have naming rights on certain parts of the building. Are you with the name? I know Delta is actually doing the JA.
Yeah.
Are you, you're also trying to get naming rights for the bigger building
Exactly.
as well?
Yeah. So there is the overall main building, billboard getting out. Yes. And then there are within the building, different naming rights opportunities. We're doing both.
I definitely need some more board inclusion.
Okay.
Because I know right now we have Mr. Straker's representing us now. I had represented before. It took me a long time to get any board representation. And I'm going to, I'm not going to say everything I want to say, but I am going to say that we made a very large investment in the foundation of $3 million. And prior to that investment, the foundation, to me, was working very well in that the foundation was, raising money every year with the golf tournament. Now, my main concern is in hiring another executive director. First of all, I really would like to know how much money the executive director made, because it seemed like to be a significant amount of the money that we gave to the foundation, but I don't see any return on investment, because a lot of the money that we earned from these, from Delta, actually that was a lot of work that Dr. Smith did, Dr. Wiley, Dr. Pitts did, wrote grants or whatever, but I don't see a lot of return investment. So what I'm hoping is that whatever this search committee that you all are doing, that the executive director is going to be someone that's flexible, that puts the foundation and our students first, because that's what we're supposed to be about, that it's about them and not that particular title. I'm hoping that when I see events the next time, it's going to say from the Clayton County Foundation, not the executive director's name. because that shouldn't be, because the executive director works for the foundation. And I'm looking for some oversight, because that was my whole concern when I served, is that we are a board, and we are a board that we follow policies. And Dr. Smith can't, just because he's a superintendent, he just can't go out and just hire somebody, and then we come to a meeting and somebody say, oh, this is our new legal person.
That is not what Dr. Smith did. Thank you.
That's my point. I'm saying that you don't do that.
Oh, okay.
Maybe we need to get Dr. Smith a hearing aid. Okay.
I did have a birthday not
Get a
long
hearing
ago.
aid. Okay, so I'm hoping that we can have a little input, that we can, maybe make some suggestions, because we want to have somebody with some flexibility and somebody that is, going to put it first, because it became a part of, you all didn't do the golf tournament. You didn't do this. You didn't do this because of somebody was telling you things that you couldn't do. And I don't understand it. I am going to put out there right now that this is something that the board is going to need, because I think the board is kind of ignoring this. But there are some suites that are in that building, and the Board of Education should have a suite. So please put our name on one of those suites. And basically, my biggest thing is that I just really know that we need to have some oversight over what is going on. The foundation's role should be more philanthropic. And you had a percentage up here for how many scholarships that we raised. The scholarships that you all gave out last year only went to a certain group.
Correct.
That was to the Val and Sal. And I have an issue with that, because we have a lot of children, and not everybody's going to be the Val and the Sal. Most of the Val and the Sals are going to get scholarships anyway. We need to be focusing on the other students so that they can adhere to Dr. Smith's 4 E's. Because we do want, of course, we want students to go to college or whatever, but we want everybody to have the opportunity. Now, this board, we've actually been doing a bit better, because we've been giving out the scholarships that the foundation used to give out. And it would be nice if both groups could go back to what we were doing. But if you could share with us some salaries, and maybe we need to have a conversation about what the salary should be, because I really, again, don't feel like we got a good return. And I'm hoping that in the future, we can get some quarterly reports from the foundation, because I think in the past couple of years, I think we've only really received 2.
Thank you, Dr. Gurry. I'm going to start with Cooper, and then I'm going to go around. All right. Do you need to say something now?
Okay. I need to piggyback on Dr. Goree. Thank you all for the transparency. I hate that word, but thank you for giving us a very thorough presentation. This is, I was very impressed with this, to see where we are as a foundation, the convocation center and such. But my question is, it's on the naming rights as well.
Mm-hmm.
Could you just briefly just walk me through the process? Because I know that the collaborative firm is going to be over this. So are we now, because I was writing my questions, have we started the solicitation for the overall, I mean, I say you have Delta,
Mm-hmm.
but for the others, have we started solicitation bids? How does that work? Can you just walk us briefly through it? Because I know that we're going to have another meeting prior to that before everything is solidified. So you could just briefly just tell me, and the board as well, how that process is with the collaborative firm.
Absolutely.
Governance.
Yeah, it's a great, and Dr. Goree, I written down your feedback. We'll certainly come back to you on all those points. Specific to the process, so working with the collaborative firm and Incisive, they've been able to identify for us who are those top prospects. And then we also have our own list that we've and then we blended the two. So technically we have about 40 in our overall list that we have identified, which are ideal. And the process typically has been, we set up an appointment, of course, with them, identify the strategic leaders that we need to talk to, and in collaboration with the foundation, whether it is the collaborative firm or our operator that's going to be involved in the naming rights. So this is really important given how their name and their network. We would present the overall story and the narrative. to try to get as much interest as we possibly can. So right now, that is pretty much the process and the step that we're going through. All the literature, the presentation deck, the storytelling, all of that has been completed. Now we're presenting it to them, bringing them to do a tour of the Convocation Center, answering whatever questions that is important to them, and try to fast track that process as quickly as we can. Because just to be candid and transparent, naming rights, depending on the dollar value, does take quite a bit of time. And so we've been trying to figure out how do we quickly get through all of these, because the fiscal year for many companies is ending, and this is the right time to get in front of them and try to close the deal as quickly as we can.
And if I could add on to that, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Dr. Haney, a lot of times interested people want to kind of see the nature of the facility itself before they attach their brand. So having it being named the Convocation Center or something else we might decide on as we start to develop the operational aspects of the Convocation Center is typical for folks to say, oh, it's going to be about that. So now I want to step up and attach my brand to it. So as Mr. Tedeschi stated, it does take a little time.
It does. Yeah, and now we're trying to think about how do we get better governance, better tracking, better reporting. I mean, in my role, in my professional role, I manage strategy, product development, and research and development. So I have an entire team. This is what they do. And my goal is to try to bring a lot of that rigor, process, maturity into this as well.
And also relative to naming rights, Mr. Tedeschi mentioned the various entities within the arena that can have independent naming. I want to also include the rooftop itself because we're in the flight path of the world's busiest airport. So that has value as well.
Yeah, and again, I'll put it, if any of you have any connection or network to any of these entities, please share them. To me, it takes a community to be able to do this, and having that right network will fast track this for us.
Thank you for that request, Mr. Chairman. You're absolutely right. As board members, we definitely do need to tap into our network to bring that to the table for you guys to close those deals. I'm going to start with Ms. Cooper.
Good afternoon. First of all, thank you for your presentation from you and the foundation board. I have some questions. They're a little bit lengthy because when I say this is a report that I have been wanting to see for a while, because I was just thinking the other day that we had kind of gotten away from my perspective of what it was. So your last bullet point, let's focus on the kids, because this whole Convocation Center was geared around graduation from the kids, but we were hearing everything other than that. Mm-hmm. So I do have some questions that maybe you can help me to understand, and then we'll just go through it slide by slide. I'm trying to stay up under my 3 minutes or whatever I have here. One thing I want to make sure that with the governing board of education, it seems as if like 1/3 of that is employees. And I just want to make sure that we don't have any undue influence that's sitting on there, being that these are 2 separate entities that should be operating separately. So please look at that, because if you look at this list, the majority of them are county. So look at that for me.
I want to also just point out that most of them are not voting members.
With the new bylaws.
Okay, so that means that we need to see those bylaws because we don't have the bylaws yet. Okay, and then number 2, so I know we said something about the accounting audit, and I don't know if this was misstated as far as an actual audit. So did an audit firm do that, or is this just a report?
It's a report. Sorry,
just a report.
This is their initial draft.
Okay.
Report
so
of all.
Audit has not been
it's
done.
going through, but it's not finalized yet.
Okay, and you're involving your board as far as what's going on as far as with these audits.
Yeah, this has been something that was mentioned before. So this is the initial finding report.
Okay.
From what we've asked our accounting team to do is go through all of our financials as far as we can possibly go and help us, complete a final report
Would there
year
be
over
a
year.
reason that you can only go so far? Because that's an additional question that I have later down on one of the slides. There was a 800K finding, Now, I know me, along with some other board members, have been asking for information.
Yep.
So we really would like to see that in the next 2 weeks, because that's
Okay.
been a year and a half. We've been asking for that. information.
Absolutely. So if I could just, in terms of how far can we, is there any limitation from an accounting principle? No. It's going to be a matter of, where is the information? Do we have the right, accounting of it? Again, just for transparency, that would be potentially the only limitation. But from an accounting principle, I don't think there is a limitation on how far you can go back.
Okay.
At least, but we'll let our accounting team handle that.
Okay.
And then regarding the 800,000, I want to be clear. It's not saying the 800,000 is, there's a few small line items as a part of the overall 800,000 that is uncategorized. So we just put it in one bucket for now until we can work through it.
Well, I
But
know
it's not the
this
full
has been an
800,000.
Ongoing. So if you could get that report to
Yeah.
us, because I know board members have been asking for that, and it's been an excuse after excuse after excuse. So please get that to us in the next 2 weeks.
Who do those requests normally go to?
Also, there is a million, oh, I'm sorry,
Yeah, who do those,
requests come to.
yeah,
So they have been sent to our superintendent. They've been sent to your executive director, who tried to get the material, but for some reason they were saying the information is unretrievable.
Okay.
So we need to
absolutely.
see that report.
Yeah, she can handle it.
Also, there was up under the expenses and financial management, that $1 million. I know you said you're doing the report, so no pressure here. You can't produce this tonight, but you just send us that profit and loss statement.
Oh yeah, we have the entire cash flow. We have a very detailed cash flow statement
Okay.
or financial statement.
And can you help me to understand one other thing?
Yeah.
What does the financially sponsorship mean or look like? How is that set up? What is that?
The financial
Under,
sponsorship package, is that what you're talking about?
yeah, the school choice. What does, okay.
Thank you.
Good evening. My department yearly raises funds for scholarships for students who attend some of our school choice programs. And so the foundation has graciously allowed us to use their portal, if you will. So our sponsors, they donate the funds through the foundation, and the foundation issues the checks to those students who win the scholarship.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Also, under the key focus and milestones.
Yeah.
You said an MOU was, I think you said completed. Is that what it says? Yeah, completed signature of the MOU and Convocation Center. So where is that in the process of coming to us, or is it going to your board and then coming to us? What's going on with that?
That's a
Because
great
it says
question, yeah.
completed, but.
So there is a short-term MOU we had to put in place because of NDA. We were sharing some highly confidential information. So we just put like a temporary MOU right now while we're working on the multi-year agreement with them.
Okay, and this is you and your board?
Yeah.
And then you'll send it to
Yeah.
us?
So we'll send you the final agreement if you want a copy of it. But we needed to at least have something like to protect both entities. It's more of we've already agreed what the management fee is going to be. That was already done through the RFP process. And so this was more or less, we didn't have the NDA, so we just added that, the management fee, if you will, and then a temporary MOU. It's only for a few months until we get the final agreement in place.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm gonna pass it on, but the event schedule, could you tell me at the bottom?
That's scheduled.
And it had the athletic team. How do they get paid, and is it a cost, and what does that look like?
Which one is that, sorry?
It's up under.
Oh, under the,
Schedule? Yes. Partners.
you're talking about the athletics. So we hired, and Dr. Smith kind of helped us out with this. So the athletics, if you wanted to share, Dr. Smith.
Oh, yes. We have individuals that have gone out and secured engagement and secured the Georgia High School Association to have their events that will bring people from all over the state. They've also secured a commitment and a contract with the SAIC conference. They've also about to cement a contract with Clayton State University. They're also in conversation with another HBCU conference. They are also in conversation with the Atlanta Dream and a lot of other work to bring those activities to the Convocation Center.
And so those two roles, we had a well-defined job description that was approved by the board. This was a year ago by the foundation board, and the foundation is paying for their services.
All right, well, I look forward to that information.
These are, by the way, I would love to see some of these questions, and please send them to me, because these are really good, insightful questions that, again, is going to help me think critically and open my mind a bit. I don't want to wait until these meetings, either one-on-ones, or if you could just send it to me directly or to our committee. I would love to share with our board, like, what are you thinking about? What are some of the questions you're raising? To me, again, that's a part of transparency and having that open dialogue, two-way communication. So please, even after today, any questions you have, send them to us, and we'll do our best to try to answer them as quickly as we can, or have them prepared for the next report out.
Ms. Hill?
Okay, again, thank you for this presentation. And to your point, you would love to have our questions. I did not know who was running anything until today. Well, I'll say until we had the opportunity to see the presentation. When we learned that the Ms. Packer's contract was not being renewed, that was the end of the conversation. So today is the first time I've had privy to even meet and put a face with a name. So thank you for allowing us to have this conversation. And just piggybacking off of my colleague, when we're talking about an audit, I would like a forensic audit, not just a audit. And the reason I say that is because if we are transitioning from previous executive director seeking a new executive director, we want people to have an opportunity to come in and know what to do and not be blindsided or something coming up. So we need to have clarity on what we're doing and where we are. To your point, this is a very, very great endeavor based for our students, and in doing that, we want to show good stewardship and be fiscally responsible. A lot of things that I am hearing does concern me. The things are happening and the board is not included. This foundation, though a separate entity, carries our name, and to have an MOU, whether temporary, permanently, or whatever, should never have happened without our knowledge of it. And so I just ask that when you're making decisions, that keep the mindset that, to Ms. Corey's point, we have policies. And so the foundation is still governed by policies because we're governing the foundation. So I'd like to ask if we could work more collaboratively with that, be more involved. I hear that there has been conversation about naming rights and possibilities and prospects. In order to expedite that, I hope that you don't exclude us because we are very critical in making those decisions as well.
The board will approve the whatever proposal is made relative to naming rights.
Yes.
It won't be done and then here it is. After the organizations do their work and they bid out, the most lucrative offers, we'll then bring it to the Board of Education for final approval.
Thank you. And so, again, just wanted us to be more collaborative and working closely together in making this great endeavor a huge success. I also would like to just ask, when I'm hearing that there was a 2-day training with the operator, just for clarity, was the operator training us or were we training the operator? Because while the operator is who we hired, we should still be steering the ship. We should be telling the operator our expectations and what we want and how they fit into it. So I just want to have an understanding of who's guiding who, because the operator will have a specific role. And my understanding is the foundation will get 15% of whatever revenue comes in and then the operator is paid, and then they get a percentage. So just wanting to understand how all of those parts work and go together. And then last, and Dr. Simpson, I see you want to address that.
So just for a point of clarity, there wasn't training, and if I shared that, I deeply apologize. Those were work sessions.
Okay.
Those were work sessions strategy. So it was us informing them and them informing us. One thing that's beautiful about my role, because there's some things, obviously, from a school system perspective, that has to be involved in conversations that we have as we strategize. This is a new arena for us. And Dr. Smith directed me to serve in this capacity to make certain that as we go down this road, that we're inclusive, for lack of better words, all of what's critical to what's going to be legal, what's going to be safe, and in terms of, and then especially us getting what we intended this to be, our share of the revenue, so that they can better benefit our children. And so providing that oversight is just what I'm doing. We're learning and growing together as we will be working in tandem and in partnership, so that we can work toward those pre-opening activities that Highland mentioned in that temporary MOU. And that's strictly what it's for. Because there are things that today is the 29th, we're talking January, then there are some things that we have to move very, very, very fast and in an expedient fashion so that we can catch up. And so definitely no intent to neglect or not inform the board. Certainly understand and respect that, and you will be involved and included and communicated with any moves that we make. But because of the time or the essence of time, and my involvement again is to provide just that oversight, so that we are ears to the grind, so to speak. There's someone from the school district representing our best interests.
Thank you. And certainly I understand the urgency, and I know how we've gotten here. However, we answer to our community and to the public, and they will stop us anywhere at any time, because this is huge. I mean, it's new. People want to know what it's about. People make up things when they don't know what it's about. And I like to stay informed, because I always want them to understand that I work for them and I serve them, and their best interest is always my priority. And so I just ask these questions on behalf of our constituents and our community, so they know that we are working together, and I have clarity on what's happening. So thank you for answering that question. And my last question is sustainability. I noticed that we have sponsors, but I'm wondering, how do we sustain? We had the BOE gave a lump sum of money initially. We know that money has to grow. And if you're spending it, and I noticed that in 2024, that our expenditures were more than our revenue.
Yes.
And those are the things that we don't want to create a cycle and a pattern. So just if you could help us to better understand what that looks like going forward, I would greatly appreciate it. And I yield my time to my colleagues.
Ms. Baker.
Okay, I'm going to get back to something that Dr. Simpson said about an idea, a concept, and one of my daughter's friends gave me this quote one time: "Every great oak was just a nut who refused to give up." I raised my hand. This is a dream of mine. I want it to be as successful as it can be. I want it to be seen everywhere. I want people to be jealous, okay? I did have questions about the audit, and you said it's coming. If you can just give us that, and if you can give us a contact number, so, because I'm sure we're gonna have questions, and it might be easier just to send them. With the updates, with everything that's gonna happen, has to happen so quickly. If we could get a weekly or every other week update, just let us know where we're at, how close we are, what we need to pray for, any of those. As for communication, we need to do a better job. Ms. Joy and I were with some teachers, And their question was about graduations and putting them back at the stadiums. And my answer was never. They said, but the county owns the convocation center. And I couldn't tell them in the words that I really wanted to do to tell them that that wasn't true. So I just said it wasn't true, that we own the convocation center.
Yes.
If our teachers of the year don't know that we are the force behind this, how many of our other teachers don't know? How many of our parents don't know? How many community leaders don't know? I have seen plenty of Facebook posts of people taking credit for something they haven't done. So we need to make sure that we brand it. And I don't care if we get an old-fashioned country brand and put it on that building.
Yeah.
I want them to know that this was the idea of the Board of Education to do this for our children.
Yep.
So that's that. And as for that rooftop and the naming, I don't know. It's going to be on the rooftop. There's going to be planes flying over. Maybe Delta needs to pay for Fly Delta to be printed on the top of that building. That's just an idea of how we can make a few extra bucks. Fly Delta on that rooftop so everybody can see it as they land in that airport. So that's just my ideas. Again, if you can just, like I said, I know you're all going to be really busy. So if somebody can just take the reins of just sending out a weekly or bi-weekly update.
So,
And Ms.
I'll
Baker, this
just-
is an initial conversation. We can have more smaller structured groups that can ask more intimate questions, so you can be more equipped to share with your constituents.
Absolutely. So just if I could, I know I won't be able to answer all the questions, but on the weekly update, yes. I just, again, just to be upfront and transparent, I wanted to get comfortable with how things were operating at a detail level. I wanted to get the teams communicating, having their work sessions, and then what we had as a working group last week to come up with a very detailed plan. And as a part of that detailed project plan, and one of the slide deck you saw, the status update, the goal is to have that plus some additional support slide that I need to provide to my board, that we need to provide to our board, and we will do the same to the BOE as well. Yes, I'm big on communication, transparency, making sure we have the right information at the right time for the right people. So yes, one of my goals is going to be to provide you weekly or bi-weekly, and then over time, we can change that frequency. And if we need to have smaller working session, I welcome that as well. And I love your idea around, this is something we'll do, FAQ. That's a great suggestion in terms of, some frequently asked questions, whether it's branded or just have that available. And we'll have a dedicated website for the Convocation Center. It can be there, or in the meantime, we can hand out brochures or just have, those focus group discussions to educate the broader community. So that's a great feedback that we can work on.
Thank you. Ms. Williams.
Dr. Smith already said what I was gonna ask, if we can have smaller meetings, like the 3-on-3s, maybe not even once a month, maybe every other month.
Okay.
So we can at least, get back with Simpson and whoever's in charge. And then when you answer the emails about finances, because I have some questions too, can you make sure you CC everybody? Like if one person asks you a question about the Convocation Center, when you send a response, can you send it to everybody?
Oh, to
So
the
that way we're not
entire
asking the
BOE.
same thing?
Yeah, to
Huh?
that distribution email for the BOE.
Yes, just
I like that. Yes, we will do that. Okay. So if anyone from the BOE, if they ask any question, doesn't matter what it is, just
CC
include the
everybody with it, so
entire
that way we won't
board.
double ask you.
Okay.
Same thing.
I'm okay
Thank
with
you.
that.
Mr. Christmas.
First, I want to say thank you for your phenomenal presentation. You guys are doing a great job with what you inherited. I've seen you on the foundation board since it was established. And I thank you for your willingness to work with the Board of Education. And we look forward to working with you and having all the questions that we have answered. And so we thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Bowles.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I echo the gratitude of my colleagues and share your passion for our scholars. So thanks for all you do. My first question is, I think you've already addressed it. The audit's coming. Okay. So was there an update or a share? Because the other thing is I'm hearing different language. Finding reports and audit. Is that something somebody wanted to distinguish or clarify, or you just know we want everything?
So I would like to clarify that because our accounting firm does our books and records, they actually cannot do our audit. That would be a conflict of interest. So what they did was an audit preparation report, which provided updates and recommendations in the event that we have an audit and we know that a external audit is needed, but it has not been started yet. So I just want to provide clarity there.
Thank you. I don't think that was clear for most of us.
Right.
So to repeat, there is no audit currently nor underway. What we have is an audit prep report that prepares us for the ability to have a high quality audit. Did I hear that correct?
Yes, there's been an internal audit.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna say. So it's not an external forensic audit that was mentioned earlier. This is an internal accounting audit from our accounting team.
Okay.
I mean, they're applying similar principles that they would apply if they were doing an external audit for somebody else. But is it a regulated audit, an independent third party doing it? No, that's totally different. Before we can even engage them, we need to have our own detailed audit. And that's what they're working through right now.
Okay. Well, I am also eager to see whatever you do have access already, but would highly encourage us to have an internal and external audit. But I think you're in the queue. Like, I think these
Correct.
are steps,
External is
and
gonna be
we're
next
building
step.
up.
Yeah.
Okay. Another question I wanted to address was on slides 12 and 13, where we talk through the buckets of work. This is less of a question and more of just a wondering. But, you know, I even scrolled up to the top of the presentation to reread our mission and vision here at the foundation. But slides 12 and 13 break down a few of the investments. And my initial thought of the foundation was that this is a space we get to do anything and everything we need for our people, but can't do here at the district, right? And what I'm seeing is what I'm wondering could be redundant services that are possible through the school district. And I'm wondering things like the programmatic academic pieces. Just curious about what those investments mean, because I see the numbers, but it's unclear, like line item, what it means. Things I do understand: teacher appreciation, bereavement. Like, these are things that there's no just grant for, right? But literacy, STEM, fine arts, like, are we leveraging each bucket appropriately and thinking about what the foundation can only do uniquely as the foundation? Whereas I think there could be some overlay. So it's not something you have to answer right now. It's just my challenge to you all to think through what can only you do, and therefore we put our whole hearts and minds around that. And what is it that we can think through being better stewards of district funds to subsidize other things? Does that make sense?
Yes.
It does, and that's what I
Okay.
would love to have as a working session.
Yeah.
We do have the detail of the specific line item for each of those categories. Meaning, if you really want to know fine arts, what specifically rolled up to that, we do have that. I don't know if that's relevant.
Well, we always want to know everything, but I understand that you all have a board as well, and I respect that. I think what I'm trying to get to, though, is when we have these top line numbers,
Yeah.
and we don't know, that means we could either make assumptions and be wrong, or not have the opportunity to be the best ambassadors for our community on behalf of all of us.
Absolutely.
And I don't want any of these things, which are really important buckets of contributions, to become, I think everyone should have access and opportunity to be supported, right? I might be making assumptions, and this could be a bad example, but let's take bereavement, which is so sensitive, right? I've never seen a bereavement application. Like, is the bereavement giving for lack of a better word, who knows who and who has proximity to whom, et cetera. How can we make sure that there's equity in our disbursement and in our care? And it's 10K right now for bereavement, but maybe it could be 50K if we took some of the stuff off the table that the district could actually subsidize on behalf of the foundation.
Yes,
Is this
ma'am.
feedback making sense?
The most immediate past executive director set aside a budget for bereavement based on data in terms of how many staff members and students over a period of years that we have unfortunately lost, and she did an average amount. And we make a contribution of $500 of any student or any staff member that passed away, provided that the family wants to support. And we've also established our own district honor guard that goes out and support and provide dignity to the homegoing services for any staff member or student that we lose, provided that the family is accepting of that. And anytime we get notification from the HR department relative to a loss of a staff or student, we provide that information to Mrs. Rice, which is our community engagement executive director, and she put it in motion to engage the foundation. It's no preferences. If anybody unfortunately find themselves in that situation, the foundation stands ready to support them.
Thank you. I think that's great. But again, we would know had it not been for this conversation. And when we talk about how do we know line item wise, share what you want us to know. But it's things like that I think you want us to know. Incredible program. That sounds great. But that's also my point. The district isn't going to do that. And so what can we do in things that only are uniquely foundation based that we can think through differently? I think my last question was you have a board. Does your board have a conflict of interest policy like this one?
It does.
Okay. And then finally, Dr. Wiley, I saw when you came up, you were talking about school choice and scholarships. My question is, do we have schools in this district for which scholars pay tuition?
Yes.
There is a board policy for non-resident students. So if those students who are not employees' children, so if those students live outside of Clayton County, then yes, there is a fee that they would have to pay. And it's based on, I believe, Ms. Bivens, it's based on the property tax value here in our school system. And that fee this year was approximately $4,900 for the year. And we do have a few. And the parents can select through the school choice application any two schools. And it's not just for magnet schools, it's for any of our schools.
So as I repeat back, correct me if I'm misrepeating anything. There is no school in this district for which we charge tuition.
Correct.
But there is a state law for this one in every district that if you want to attend a school from out of district, you can. So far, so good?
So far, so good.
Okay, my question is, if our annual rate is $4,900, meant to either do one of two things, maintain seats and access for our scholars, or try to get some money off of the scholars who aren't ours, am I now learning that we, in some cases, subsidize the cost for those students entirely in the form of scholarships from our foundation?
That is incorrect. The scholarships are for college enrollment. So it's our seniors who receive the scholarships that we fundraise for the foundation.
And I'm good on those because we get to celebrate those at graduation.
Yes.
Help me understand what you were saying, then I must be misunderstanding something. What connection were you making when you talked about foundation money as it relates to school choice?
The
Could you
collegiate
re-educate me on that?
scholarships.
The what scholarships?
Collegiate scholarships.
Okay.
Okay. They had one of the slides talked about fiscal sponsorship for scholarships for the school choice. It's for the collegiate scholarships for our seniors who earn the scholarship.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
No scholarships are happening for like K-8, 9 through 12 scholars, either in or out of the county.
That is correct.
Thank you for
You're
your
welcome.
patience there. That's it for me.
Okay, board members,
Mr.
thank you
Chairman.
so
Mr.
much.
Chairman, may I make a summary statement relative to this conversation?
Can I just say that before you, Mr. Jesse, I wanted to thank you so much for including the information about the partnership with Dr. Lonnie Johnson. That is Tuskegee? Is that who you're
That's Doc,
speaking
yep,
of?
that is, yep, Dr. Lonnie Johnson, the inventor.
Is that, did you say yes? We're having
Yes,
trouble.
yes,
I
sorry,
say
yes.
the
My
inventor.
apologies.
Yes, I want for those that are listening or whatever, if you're unfamiliar with Dr. Lonnie Johnson, he's the inventor of the Super Soaker water gun, and he has been for years trying to be a partnership with Clayton County Public Schools.
Yep.
And I want to just thank Dr. Smith for his openness. He is open to anyone that wants to help us. In the past, we've had some leaders who have prohibited that partnership, and he's actually been wanting to do it for a while. So I salute you all for that. And
Thank
I'm
you.
looking forward, because I know you have not even mentioned to this board some of the ideas that you have. And I look forward to future conversations where you will let us know some of the great things that you've been wanting to do with the foundation for our students. And thank you again for the presentation.
Thank you so very much, Chairman Tedeschi and board members with the foundation. I certainly want to give a special thanks to Dr. Ralph Simpson. And I want to touch on something, I want to mention something that Dr. Simpson touched on. This is new territory for us all at this level. Of course, there's a convocation center, arena level venue in Douglas County, but as relative to a robust venture of this nature, it's probably the only one in the United States. So this is an absolute new model. So we're learning as we go. The Board of Education, the Foundation Board, and I would imagine the operators as well, because this is the first time an operator has collaborated with a public school system. So mistakes might be made, shoring up opportunities will exist, correction opportunities will exist. And I agree that Mrs. Baker pointed out that on the onset of this, we probably need to have a more frequent conversation to ensure everybody is comfortable. Lots of questions for us all. And so I just wanted to make the Board of Education aware of that dynamics. But I also want to point out to the viewing audience, in the event that I have not made this announcement before, we boast ourselves as a very sophisticated school system. And of course, the setup that we have here relative to our board meetings is not commensurate with our desire. So I just wanted you to know that we're in the process of renovating our central office headquarters, which was where we would normally have our Board of Education meetings. And at that point, when it opens in a few short months, then the level of sophistication centered around technology and all of that will match the sophistication of the entire school district.
Thank you, Dr. Smith. And I also have to thank each and every one of my board members. This has been great. This is how meetings should be. We've heard the voice of each and every one of the board members, and it was an extremely comprehensive report. And this is what they've been calling for the longest period of time. So I think mission accomplished, and I look forward to ongoing conversations between the foundation, the Convocation Center, and the board. So I thank each and every one of you for your participation. I'm now handing the platform back over to Dr. Smith so he can finish with the updates to the board.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have at the podium Dr. Monica Wiley that would give us a brief update on the Cognia mid-cycle progress report.
Good evening, Chair Straker, Vice Chair Baker, members of the board, Superintendent Dr. Smith. We are in the process of submitting our mid-cycle progress report. You should have received a copy of that report, but it's very important that I talk about how we got here briefly, how we got here. In 2023, we went through our accreditation process, and Cognia gave us 2 areas of improvement. The first area dealt with professional learning for all staff members, not just certified groups, but classified groups as well. The second area of improvement dealt with external evaluations of one of our programs. That's our mentoring program, our teacher mentorship program. And so each cycle has a mid-cycle, and we had to respond to those areas of improvement, and you have a copy of that report. But prior to submitting that report, we wanted to make sure that our Board of Education received a copy, just in case you had any questions regarding that copy. I feel very honored and pleased that the Professional Learning Department and our Research, Evaluation, Assessment, and Accountability Department did a very good job on responding to those areas of improvement. So I have no doubt that all will go well once we submit our document. And I stand here to answer any questions that you may have.
Any questions from the board members? Seeing none, we
Thank
can
you.
move on to graduation, right?
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Wiley, and thank you, Mr. Chairman. At this time, we would like for Dr. Delphia Young, along with Dr. Keith Colbert, to come and give us a brief update relative to our graduation rate. We've had conversation about it. We put out a release. The board is familiar with a lot of data that's already been sent out. So we can pretty much keep this brief.
Keith and well, good evening, Chair Straker, Vice Chair Baker, members of our board, Superintendent Smith, audience and community. So we are very excited about sharing our 2025 graduation rate. We're very excited. We had the 4-year cohort graduation rate. It was established in 2011. And I just have to draw your attention. We have the highest rate since we started that, with 86.3% for our 4-year graduation rate. That reflects a 3.3 point increase from last year. And we are on the heels of the state rate of 87.2. So we're very excited. Our improvement was higher than the state rate of 1.8. I just want to pause for a moment. I want you to look at our schools and look at their performance there. As you look at our schools, 7 out of our 12 schools had increase in their graduation rate. And of course, elite scholars, take a look at elite scholars, since its graduation rate in 2014 has been 100% and has remained 100%. Followed Stillwell with 4 years of consecutive with 100%. And the very first class of Utopian High School of Arts had 100% graduation rate. So we're very proud of all of our schools here. So I just say stop for a moment and give a round of applause.
And Dr. Young, can you mention and bear out the 4 categories that we did, in fact, exceed the state's data in?
For
graduation?
Yes, for our subgroups, let me get to that point.
Okay.
Dr. Smith, okay, thank you. Next slide, please. And so this is our 5-year cohort graduation rate. And that's important too, because sometimes students don't make it during the very first round of 4 years. And that 5-year cohort rate is comprised of those students who graduate in the summer. So when you're attending that summer graduation for our students, they are included in our 5-year graduation rate trend. And so we're just very pleased of all the work that our students who didn't make it in May, who come back and do the work that they need to do in order to meet those graduation requirements. So we are very proud of them as well. So give them a round of applause. All right, the next one, please. And I'll let Dr. Colbert talk about our subgroups where you can talk about those increases.
Good evening. Just to highlight several categories, our subgroups are identified groups of students similar to students with disabilities, English language learners. As you can see on the slide above there, that our Black students outpaced the state, our Hispanic students, our multiracial students, our white students, our economically disadvantaged students, and our English language learner students, as well as our students with disabilities. They continue to improve our students overcome many barriers, and we're just so proud of the continued progress that all of our subgroups are making.
Let's give them a round of applause again. Y'all just keep clapping it up. This is great news. What's wrong with you all? So we're very excited about our subgroups, and this is important because too often our schools are identified for low performing based on that subgroup. So this year we're very excited that we have really accomplished a lot for that. So we're so excited. And I want to end based on what Dr. Smith started out with saying that Richard Woods, Georgia Department of Education, doing their communication to the public, highlighted Clayton County Public Schools. And we included that excerpt for you all to read. And as we take our seat, unless there are questions, please read that one of those wonderful things that Richard Wood had to say about our school district. And so I'm very excited. Thank you, Dr. Smith.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Young, Dr. Cope.
I just want to make a point here. You look at those first numbers, we were 16 points under the state, and we're not even a full point under the state.
Yes.
And we have all those categories that other people don't have to deal with,
Yes.
whether it be economic, transient, and we're still doing it. So kudos to all of our teachers, to just the families who help these children after school, just having a positive attitude that I can do it, because I heard a thing that said, I didn't know I could do it until my teacher told me I could. They had more faith in me than I did. And sometimes it's the faith of the teacher that changes the student. So thank you, and thank you to all of our teachers.
Thank you.
And especially our students, they're the ones that did it.
Absolutely. Thank you.
I have a question before y'all
I'm sorry.
transition. Thanks. But y'all are still transitioning, but maybe you can hear it from where you are. Okay, my question is, and it's really just a reflection. Shout out to everybody. This is great. I'm also, obviously, we can celebrate our wins and maintain high expectations. So I'm going to ask about our two schools that dropped, and that would be Forest Park and Drew. Okay, I thought you would know. I trust you. My question is, it sounds like so many things are going so well, so many places, that we have the blueprint. It seems like there's something, an intervention that is readily available for these groups, and just curious if there was insight. And I'm sure you know, maybe it's our freshmen in that community are lagging in reading, or maybe our juniors are behind in their math. Like, there's going to be this niche thing in each of those schools. And so I'm curious about y'all's attention to that. And we're talking tenths of points here. So what are you all thinking regarding Drew and Forest Park?
Well, obviously, once the data is released, the first strategy is to be very reflective. The data was just released today, so we will go into a fact-finding mission. We want to be very, very careful. We don't want to assume certain things by rushing through the process. As we continue to assist schools and examine data, once we examine that data, we will root cause it out.
Great.
We will be more specific in where, was it your students with disabilities? Was it your English language learning students, et cetera?
That was actually my very next question, which is, you talked a little bit about the subgroups, and we're very proud, and we do the most with the least, and that's what makes us great.
Yes.
My question is still, we can have high expectations for our English language learners whose score at this point is still below the state average, alongside our scholars with disabilities. And I know you all are thinking about them alongside every scholar. So just wanted to couple that, my excitement, with the fact that it seems like we're so close to making sure that we're teasing out any other wrinkles.
Thank you, Ms. Bowles.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
In regards to those schools that Ms. Bowles spoke of that have the dip, such as Jonesboro, and Riverdale, with those schools that have the dip, can you just provide updates after you do your in-depth research on that? I'd just like to get some status along, I'm sure, with the board members.
Yes.
So that we can find out what that
Of course.
challenge is.
Yes.
Thank you.
Dr. Curry.
Oh, did you send me? Oh, okay. I have a question on one of your slides. Is this correct? The 5-year cohort rate trends for all, wait a minute, yeah. Wait a minute, I might be on the wrong thing. Where'd it go to? On the, with elite scholars. I'm just surprised to see 81.5 for 2025. Is that correct?
I would not be concerned so much about that because elite scholar may not have but 1 or 2 students. And so one student can make a big difference. So that student we were able to pick up because remember, they have 100% graduation rate, all right? But sometimes when the data are coded, we look at, that student may have gone to elite scholar, you may have had 3 students. And so when they pulled up those 3 students, they got caught into that. So those schools like Stillwell, Elite Scholars, and maybe Utopian, I would not be concerned about their 5-year graduation rate.
Well, I just saw it. It said for 2024.
Yeah.
And I don't recall it saying that last year.
Correct.
Last year it said 100.
Correct.
So I didn't know if you are just, it was just a mistake since the public has access to this. I
Correct.
just want to make sure the data is correct.
Correct. And that's what Dr. Colbert mentioned earlier. We have to go and make sure our data are clean. And so we may have students who are coded for elite scholar, but may not have been at elite scholars, especially since it had 100% graduation rate.
All right. And is that data board up yet?
Yes, it is. We've sent you an email and asked if you would like to be trained, and we're just waiting on you all to give us a day.
I want to be trained.
We'll make that happen, Dr. Corey. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Dr. Young and Dr. Colbert. At this time, we're going to ask Chief Walker to come up and provide a high-level update to the board on safety and security. I know the reports have been provided to the board.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, Madam Vice Chair, board members, Superintendent Dr. Smith, colleagues, community members. I have received, or you have received, a report regarding safety and security stats. And if you have any questions, please present them now.
Any questions, board members? Ms. Williams, any question? No? Dr. Goree?
I want to ask you something whenever he finishes.
When who?
You. Whenever he finishes with his
Oh,
presentation.
I think he's finished. He said, did you read it, right?
I don't have a question for him is what I'm saying. So.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
All right.
thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Walker. Oh, I'm sorry.
Who has a question?
Go ahead.
Chief Walker, when I was reading the report, just give me some clarity on the increase. I was like reading increases and then there were decreases. Like, for instance, for the month of January, I'm looking at the second semester. For the month of January, there was an increase in weapons being located on school property.
So basically, it was a data comparison month to month. And if you can, who has the clicker?
Just go to the second semester, just for
That's altercations. Go back again. There it is. So what you're looking at is a data comparison, which is month to month for the second semester of this past school year. And if you look at the data comparison, you would see that in 2024, we've actually, if you total that up, we've actually had 21 weapons on school grounds. And if you look at the second semester of this past year, we only had 19, which was a decrease of actually 10%. What I was trying to indicate or just show you month-to-month comparison from last year to this year.
Dr. Walker, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Dr. Goree, you had something to say after his?
Well, I'm just going to try to endure it. I was just trying to see if possibly looking at the time that we spent on some items, and we finally have way down here under our business agenda. I was just going to try to see if it's possible, if maybe we could move up the.
We'll go through this. We'll speed through this and get through this. The next part is business services.
Ms. Bivens.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, Madam Vice Chair, Board Member, Superintendent, colleagues, and community. I try to go fast. So what you have, and you all already had this and have had the opportunity to review it, hopefully, for the month of August, which is our second month of the fiscal year, we have collected 2.8% of our revenue at 20.3 million. As you know, we don't collect our local property taxes, don't start coming in until October. The bills should have gone out, and they'll be due next month, so we'll get some money in. So I think you'll see the first amount will be on the November report. So it's the final due date, I believe, is in November, so we'll get the majority of the money in November, and December, and January. The majority of our revenue that we collected is in state revenue. On the expenditure side, we spent $49.3 million, which is 6.8% of our budgeted expenditures. So I'll be happy to answer any questions if you have any on that report.
Is there any questions, board members? Seeing none, you can move
Thank
to
you.
the next item.
Next, we have the SPLOST report. So what we received in the month of August was actually what was, we received it in August, it was for July. $6.3 million, which is right in line with where it was in July, what we received in July. And I also show you what we received the prior year as a comparison. So we're on target, and actually we're collecting a little bit more than we did last year. Any questions on that?
Is there any question, board members? Seeing none.
All right,
move to
and the last
next
is your
item.
purchasing report. There are 3 reports. Report A is the consumables. Report B is non-consumables, greater than $10,000, less than $100,000. And report C are for contracts above $100,000 that the board has to approve before we purchase. Any questions on what was in the packet?
Any questions on purchasing? Seeing none,
All right,
thank you very much,
Have a good
Ms.
night.
Bivens.
Thank you, Ms. Bivens. Mr. Joseph.
Good evening. We have 3 items for your consideration. The first being the SPLOST construction update. Next slide, please. For the month of September, we had 8 payments totaling $16.6 million, and there were no change orders. Next slide. You also received the capital purchase report for items between $10,000 and $250,000. Next slide. And the third item is the North Clayton High School GMP. Next slide. We have an update for the community. Again.
In Clayton County, the future can't wait. We're building a better tomorrow, today. The new North Clayton High School is a promise to our students, our community, and our Clayton County. The future can't innovation meets tradition. We're building a better tomorrow. Perched atop a hill just 2 miles from the world's new North Clayton High School is a promise. The school commands sweeping views of the landscape and its state-of-the-art. Here, innovation meets tradition. Perched atop a hill just 2 miles, shaped like our Eagle mascot and clad in blue-gray zinc, its graceful curves and bold forms speak to the future. Shaped like our Eagle mascot and clad in blue-gray zinc, visitors arrive beneath a welcoming canopy speak to the future. Pass through a soaring 3-story atrium, linking academics, arts, and athletics into a unified community of learning. Visitors, clear-story windows and folded ceilings recall the contrails of jets and feathers of eagles, while messages of inspiration remind students that they're part of something bigger. Their cascading stair in North Clayton blue connects all 3 levels, bringing daylight and views to every corner. 2 academic wings house vibrant classrooms, a collaborative stair in North Clayton, each ending in a 2-level student lounge, bringing daylight into fly high every corner. 2 academic ribbon windows wrap the classroom, filling student spaces with daylight and connecting, each ending in a 2-level student lounge, a place to fly high. At the heart of the campus, the media center overlooks the atrium and the front approach. At the heart of the campus, the media center overlooks the atrium and the front approach. Nearby, a state-of-the-art auditorium and fine arts wing nurture creativity of all types. While the welcoming cafeteria offers state-of-the-art auditoriums and fine arts wing nurture creativity of all types. The Eagle's Nest, our new gymnasium and training facility, gives student athletes and fans a place to gather, celebrate, and soar. Eagle's Nest. Gather, celebrate, and soar. Framed by woodlands, the campus offers a tranquil backdrop for football, baseball, softball, track and field, golf, tennis, and even a rolling cross-country course. Framed by woodlands, the campus offers a tranquil backdrop for football, baseball, softball. Welcome to the new North Clayton High School, tennis, where the Eagles have landed and the future takes flight. Welcome to the new North Clayton High School, where the Eagles have landed and the future takes flight.
Next slide.
That's what I'm talking about.
So the recommendation from the superintendent is that the board approve the GMP, the guarantee maximum price for $228,959,598.03. We have begun work. The site has been cleared. You also have part of your packet is the construction schedule. We are looking to be complete by July of 2027. Are there any questions?
Are there any questions? Ms. Hill?
I have a question, and looking at the North Clayton High School and how wonderful it's going to look, just curious in this climate, the cost difference of what it cost us to build Morrow and what it's going to cost us to do North Clayton.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Ms. Williams mentioned that these are challenging times. These are also challenging times in terms of economics. To answer your specific question, Morrow High School was $250 a square foot, meaning $85 million. North Clayton High School is coming in at $228 million. And so this is not unique to Clayton County Public Schools. This is nationwide. We just came last week. We visited Cherokee High School, and they too, for a very similar program, their new high school was over $200 million as well.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions? Seeing none, thank you, Mr. Joseph.
Thank you, Mr. Joseph. Ms. Albritton.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, Madam Vice Chair, members of the board, Superintendent Dr. Smith, colleagues, and community members. The Personnel Changes Report summarizes all personnel actions for the period of August 8th through September 10th, 2025. Human resources updates were submitted to the Board of Education for your review. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Do we have any questions for Human Resources Board members? Seeing none, we can move on to
Mr. Chairman, I just also want to point out, although Mr. Joseph has taken his seat, we do have a ribbon cutting coming up on the Forest Park opening of the Forest Park Middle School, and Mr. Joseph stands ready to perhaps take anybody over that wants to see an up close and personal tour before we do the ribbon cutting, so you can see what we're getting ready to unveil to the general public.
Thank you very much for that opportunity. Make sure, board members, that you email Dr. Smith if you want to take him up on that, that offer. Next, we'll move on to board matters. This is Policy Series G. This is our second read. We will be voting on this policy next Monday, October 6th, at the board meeting. Is there any discussion on Policy Series G?
Yes. My question is about, I don't even know if this is Damaris here? Oh,
Yes,
there
she's
you
still
are. Hey,
here.
Ms. Garrett. Okay. If this this policy is about the grievance process. And what I'm noticing is there is external representation available at steps 2 and 3. When this policy uses the words external representation, what do they mean? And based on your definition and your answer to that, why isn't that external representation included in level 1?
Good evening, Board Chair, Madam Vice Chair, members of the board, and the community at large, and Superintendent
Good
Smith.
evening.
So the grievance policy is actually premised off state law. So that language is in state law. What I would assume based on the read of the legislative rationale is that they really want it resolved at the lowest level possible. So the first level is really typically between the immediate supervisor and the individual, hoping that they can actually get to and come to some agreement and resolve it before it moves forward. At level 2 and level 3, the next level, then that's where they can have a representative, and then that person actually assists them with presenting the information for their grievance. But the general answer is that it is based on the language that's from the state law.
I think I read it the same way, like it's implied that we hope you find a solution on your own at level 1. My thing is, though, I think it's important. My request, or perhaps something we can discuss later, is defining our terms. What is an external support? Because what stops somebody from bringing, their mom or their witness to the issue, or the teacher down the street, or I just think there's some specificity that could help all of us. And I also think that by you defining that term, it'll be really obvious that you don't need that person at level 1. Here's why they're excluded. You might want to say, your GAE representative, or your, I don't know, whatever the right words are. But what is an external support? And I think defining that term will be a great way to enhance this policy.
And we'll look into that, because the law speaks generically to it and it just says representative. We'll look and we'll see if that actually is an opportunity for the school system, or do we have to leave it that way? I will say most individuals, if they do bring representatives, they are from employee representative organizations. Typically, you really don't see attorneys, but most of the time they're from employee representative organizations, or sometimes they have had advocates who come and who can actually bring information. If it's relative to a specific situation, they'll bring someone who may have knowledge of what.
Those sounds like all the perfect words to define in the policy what we mean by external support. And I think we can, just as I hear you on we can't do anything contrary to the state. We certainly won't, but we also can do more. We can't do less than the state for preemption, right? But if a state has a standard and says all your teachers have to be good people, we can do more than that. You've got to be good people and have a degree. Or, you can enhance the state's base law expectation. We just can't do less. And my request is that we go the extra mile by being specific about who can and can't be involved in these tier 2 and 3 processes for grievances.
I think that may be the challenge, because I don't know if we can actually define and exclude any individuals, but maybe something that would actually say, for example, but if they choose to bring in someone who is not in any of those groups, right now, the district doesn't have the right by state law to exclude those individuals.
That
So
totally
that's
makes
certainly
sense.
something, we can look at.
Thank you.
Thank you. My
Thank you,
pleasure.
Ms. Moore.
If you could stay here for just 1 second, just in case.
Absolutely.
I have a comment. I'm actually not ready to even have this on the agenda next for us to vote on Monday, but that's just me. In following up on what Ms. Bowles says, I think there are some definite things that need to be put in here, which is why I asked to have the equity and compliance. I wanted that on the agenda before we even got to vote on these things, because I've just seen some things that are happening to our employees, and I don't think that I particularly have to empathize with first-year teachers that don't understand the process, especially they're getting in trouble over things that are happening within the school, losing their jobs over something that is not even related to what they're doing in the classroom, and having great evaluations, but there are other people that could have been helping them out as far as, why that person got in trouble. So I'm personally not ready, but the rest of y'all, we got to vote on this for next week. I would, Miss Dr. Smith has said I could meet with him. I think Ms. Hill actually has some questions.
Hearing those concerns, I am willing to table this policy. Is it a time constraint on me, or do we have time to work?
The opportunity to speak with Mrs. Goree and whomever else might satisfy that, it might prevent you from having to take that action.
So what we will do is, on Monday's meeting, prior to voting on this, if your answer hasn't been recorded, we'll then pull it based off of the poll of the board. and we'll work on it.
I'm not
you know.
even sure if I can even meet with him because I'm not the only one that, Ms. Hill had some questions.
Right, and
as well.
what I was
And he-
thinking, and I don't know if Ms. Bowles would be willing to do this, similar to what Ms. Hill did with her committee. I don't know if you want to take this specific policy, get 2 other board members, and look at the totality of the policy and come back with a recommendation.
Well, I'm at capacity with the budget committee right now.
Okay.
And we do have a policy committee, and this, what you've just heard, is my feedback.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't think we need a small huddle. I don't. On this one policy.
All right, so we will address this at the next board meeting. We'll poll the board to see if we want to go forward, if all of the questions haven't been answered. Fair enough? All right, the next policy up is Policy Series M. This is the second read, and we will be voting on that next Monday. Are there any questions or changes to that policy? All right, no recommended changes, therefore we will move on from there. And now the moment that everybody's been waiting for. Ms. Hill, I'm gonna ask you to make the first motion on this, being that it was your committee, and then I'll take a second from someone else. So we got the renaming of the homeless center, and I believe the name is going to be, the recommendation is gonna be,
I'd like to recommend that we vote on the renaming of the building for our homeless education department to McKinney-Vento Program MVP Pathway to Promise.
okay, is that your motion?
That's my motion.
Okay, you got the second on that? And Ms. Bowles is second. I got the motion from Ms. Hill and a second from Ms. Bowles. Can we get a vote? Okay, looks like it's unanimous from the people that are here. With that being said, first of all, congratulations. Ms. Harrison, thank you so much for, your public.
Thank you, Ms. Harrison.
It was actually prompted by you for many years. So that's the way that the community should move. And I thank you so much for that. Ms. Hill, I thank you so much for running an effective committee. I jumped a little bit ahead and I spoke to Dr. Smith, assuming that this vote was going to go through. And Dr. Smith is going to be working with Mr. Joseph and his communications department to get that name changed ASAP.
Yes.
So we'll hear from him shortly on exactly when that will take place. And I want to make sure that all board members are at that event because that's a big deal.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, we will jump right on it. And
Okay.
again, I just want to publicly thank Mrs. Brenda Harrison for her community advocacy on so many subject matters. Thank you, ma'am. You're valued.
Okay, last but not least is the approval of the proposed board meeting agenda for October 6, 2025. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Okay, Ms. Bowles, and I got Ms. Hill. I said Ms. Hill, so let's go with Ms. Hill. Ms. Hill seconds it. It's been properly moved and seconded.
Discussion.
You got a
How,
discussion.
how do we get around if we're not ready to go with, because you have the G on there.
The G is on there. Well, we're going to, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Mr. Stricker outlined an effective plan. It will stay on the agenda based on this vote, but he plans to have an individual discussion when that item comes up so that the board can decide whether it even wants to discuss the full item. If I have that correct, Mr.
That is correct, sir. All right, is that good for you, Ms. Gory? Okay, all right, so we got to vote on the
motion.
Right, we got a motion from Ms. Bowles, we got a second from Ms. Hill. You got that, Ms. Battles? I need a vote. And before everybody goes, I just need to say, thank you so much for your patience this evening. This was a longer than usual meeting, but it was a lot of valuable information. And I think that we all, heard the voices of all my board members. I appreciate y'all. The time is now 8:23 and this meeting is adjourned.
We haven't voted because I'm a no on that.
Okay, you're a no? Okay.
So make sure y'all let